join me for a quick stretch specifically for the hamstrings and the low back. We're going to start with just some seated knee hugs. So sitting, I just want you to go ahead and alternate hugging one knee in towards your chest and then the other knee. Okay, so just hug that knee in as far as you can. This is great to loosen up the hips and the low back. It can be done from a seated position, making it even a little bit easier. So continue alternating one knee and then the other. Let's do one more each side. Moving into seated cat-cow. So make sure both feet are planted flat on the floor. Sit bones are nice and even in the chair here. Hands go right above the knees, and you're just going to alternate between pushing your chest out, looking up, and then opposite, rounding through that upper back as you look down. Okay, so cat and cow. Inhale on the one movement, and then exhale on the other. Few rounds here, loosening up through that lower back and that upper back as well. Okay, but a great movement that you can do while you're seated. Between those knee hugs and cat-cow, you don't even have to leave your chair for these ones. Let's do one more each direction here. So push that chest out, look up, and then round through that upper back, look down, and go ahead, come back to a neutral spine. The next few stretches we're actually going to do standing, so go ahead and stand on up for me. And we're going to start with having your feet about hip width apart or so. Knees are just slightly bent, and we're just going to do a hinge. So keeping a nice flat back, you're just going to glide your palms down your legs to right below the knees, and then stand back up. So hinge and stand, hinge and stand. And as you feel comfortable, feel free to start gliding those hands down a little bit further. So rather than right below the knees, if you can go down to maybe mid-shin, start to go to mid-shin. Only if you can do that. If you're good keeping the palms right below the knees, stay there. Okay, but loosening up through the back of the legs as we hinge forward and using the back of the legs to help us stand back up. Last one, hinge forward, reach those hands down, and then go ahead, stand back up. Next stretch is just going to be a static stretch, and feel free to utilize a chair, ideally a chair without wheels, or if you have a small bench or something. I want you to go ahead and raise your one leg up onto either the chair, bench, and from here with a nice flat back, you're just going to hinge over that leg that you have resting on that chair or bench. If you don't have a stable chair or a bench near you, you can just do this one with your heel on the ground. Okay, heel is on the ground, you're hinging forward, reaching those hands towards the toes. Okay, so whether you're doing the floor version or chair, bench version, let's hold here for about 30 seconds. And you just reach those hands as far as you can, whether that's to your thigh, your knee, your shin, ankle, toes, wherever those hands go. Just make sure you're not pressing directly on the knee joint. If your hands go to the knees, make sure they're either right above or below. Okay, we don't want to hyperextend that knee. Less than 10 seconds. Feel that stretch in the hamstring, that back of the leg, for 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead, release that stretch, shake out those legs. Same thing, other side. So remember, you have that floor version. Okay, so if you don't have a stable chair, feel free to have the heel on the ground, toes up, or if you want, put the heel on the chair, a bench, and go ahead, hinge forward from the hips. Try to keep a nice flat back, and let's hold here about 30 seconds or so. Hands go to wherever your body allows. It's perfectly okay if your hands don't touch your toes. Consistently you do this stretch, the more likely you are going to be able to reach your toes. So work to your level wherever you are right now. Maybe about 10 more seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead, stand on up. Bring your feet back together. Shake out those legs. And last stretch we have is just a Ragdoll Fold. Okay, so you can stand with your feet about hip width apart, or if you want to have your feet close together, you're welcome to do that as well. But I want you to go ahead and bend your knees generously and allow the upper body to fold over your legs. Grab onto the opposite elbows here and just allow that upper body to hang nice and loose. Let that spine decompress. Let go of any tension in the neck. You can nod your head yes, shake your head no to release that tension. And as a reminder, make sure you are bending those knees. Now you can also do this one seated. If you prefer to stay in the chair and hinge forward over your legs, you are welcome to do that. I'll finish up with the seated version. Let's go for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice and slowly, one vertebrae at a time. Inhale, take your time. There's no need to rush up. Don't want anyone getting dizzy. Once you're back up to standing, squeeze those shoulder blades together. And that was the last stretch. So let's go ahead, officially wrap up our stretch break with a big inhale and exhale. Inhale those arms up towards the ceiling. Exhale them down towards the floor. And just a quick stretch break for the hamstrings and the low back. Thank you for joining me. Way to take a stand for your health.